see if I can get him to. This one's not so much of a biter as the female was. Okay, I lied.
Yeah. I had to issue the challenge.
There you go. Are you still? There you go.
Oh my gosh.
It's nice to be around other people who appreciate it. It is gorgeous.
Isn't that just beautiful?
Yes.
And from below, those little white dots at the tips of the wings make it look like when you're underneath them and the sun's shining through, it kind of looks like they're strung with Christmas lights. They're so pretty. There you go.
Excellent.
He's so pretty.
Yeah. Oh, so sweet. All right.
So if you folks want to either duck down so that when she takes this photo, you're not going to, or kind of come down around here in front. That
Yeah,
way.
you get a better picture from this side with the way the sun is. So if you want a picture, come on this side. Okay, buddy.
So as this bird goes, watch that. Look at the shape. Those long, pointy wings. And this is your chance to watch that little boy humming that I was talking about. That kind of meandering, bobbing flight that they have.
On three. 1, 2, 3.
Right here. So now you can see the Christmas lights. Oh, he's doing a great job of showing us.
This is an immature female harrier.
I thought maybe if you want to watch this.
So this bird was born this year. And I'm not sure the distinct markings to know if it's a male or a female, but I know that the juveniles will have more of an orangey
You don't have to touch down. I was just trying to get a
front
picture.
area.
You guys want to stand up.
And the cool things about, what? Did you have another thing?
No,
Because I don't really know about how to tell them apart.
oh, the female is the one with the chocolate brown eyes. Is
Okay.
immature. Yeah.
Okay, the immature female will have a very dark chocolate brown eye, and as they get older, their eyes will change more yellow, I'm pretty sure. Yeah. They change into more of a yellow color. And this bird is primarily hunts low over open fields. And the one especially cool thing about harriers is that they have a facial disc like an owl. So they hunt with their hearing primarily. Can everybody see the facial discs on there? Let's see if I can get her over this way. Thank you. Can you guys see too? And these birds have extremely long wings to help them soar over the fields.
Now they'll start back. We can see them as early as March or April coming back. Again, it depends on what's happening with the weather. They're going to be a little later because the reptiles tend to be a little later coming out. So there we go.
Where do they go, Marty?
South America.
They do go south.
Yep, they go all the way to South America. So yeah, they are looking for another place where there are lots of reptiles. Yeah, it is. It's fascinating to think about them looking for kind of the same thing in a reverse, you know, in the southern hemisphere. That's typically what's going on with birds that migrate. Peregrine falcons, for example, migrate all the way from the tundra all the way to the tundra, but it's Argentina and Antarctica. So it's amazing long flight. Just making sure it's kind of like a dog might be panting just to get that extra stress. Yeah, just a little, not too bad. This one's looking pretty
jerked
perky.
once.
Yeah,
She wants
yeah.
to go.
They are definitely looking for that opportunity. I'm gonna come this way just more.
Get out of this chair.
No, you're fine. You're fine.
A bird's eye view.
Okay. All right. On 3, Diane.
And this is a throat.
Yeah, just a little bit. Okay. 1, 2, 3. Excellent. First row.
sometimes these really big birds, you start to move forward and you have to fix your grip. Your hand gets to cramp up a little bit. But it's worth it. Does anybody know? Come on in. You can come in closer. I just did 2 school groups, so I hope my voice holds out here. Does anybody know what kind of raptor this is?
Harrier?
It's not a harrier. It's a red tail. And harriers will have the little facial disc like owls have.
Okay.
So this is a red-tailed hawk. See how long it's stretching its neck like that? Raptors have 14 vertebrae instead of our 7. So they can do amazing things with their body as they keep their eyes on their prey. Raptors, red tails are in the Buteo group. They're the ones with big soaring wings. They're going to be out on the big air, the big thermals. They'll be riding. They'll be circling up in the sky. You'll see them. A lot of them starting down in like the farmland in southern Minnesota. Wings to go circle around fields and open areas to look for their food. You'll also see them perched on telephone poles or utility poles or trees in the winter. They do not migrate real far. They don't, because they eat things like rabbits and rabbits that will still be on top of the snow. Yeah. So in the winter you'll see them in the tops of deciduous trees in the branches sitting there. Oh, I was going to show you something else about the wing here. When you see a red-tailed fly, it's got this dark marking right here. And that's called the patagial mark. Often you can see that. The other thing it has down here by my pinky finger is a wrist comma, that marking on that part of the wing. So if you see those 2 things, you're probably looking at a red tail. I don't know. Not very. I mean, they have hollow bones so that they can fly. Pound, maybe?
A pound of butter?
Maybe. That's hard to gauge. I don't know. I don't know. I can just tell it's very strong. Yeah. Big and thick. So these guys are going to be coming in on a big rabbit from above. And so the prey is fairly good size. Their feet are pretty good size. If you have an accipiter, the woodland hawks, they're going to be eating songbirds. And their legs are really thin and maneuverable, so they can come and chase after little birds as they're flying. The only bird that has this number, and that's how we collect all our data, is by this band number.
Do their eyes change color as they mature?
This one, I believe they get darker. And the accipiters, it goes from yellow to orange to red as they age. I think this one gets darker.
What's the typical lifespan?
That I don't know either. That's one of the things we can learn from banding, but right offhand I don't know. Margie might know.
When does the red tail mark?
The red tail, after the 2nd year, I'm pretty sure. It does not have a red tail right now, but after the 2nd year it has a red tail. Margie?
They start to get it. It intensifies between the 1st and the 3rd.
Okay.
So it may be not quite as red until it gets to the 3rd year.
Yeah, okay.
And the females get the red tail too?
Pardon?
The females have a red tail too?
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Yeah, that's very nice. One more, just to make sure we got it good.
There goes the net.
All right.
Yeah,
All right.
just
Step
the net.
right
Start the
on.
count.
Step right on out to the edge there. No leaping off or anything, but yeah.
Well, don't tease it.
All right, on 3.
1, 2, 3. Come back, I want to take you home.
And what they do is they'll often go after we release them, they'll go perch and they kind of give themselves a quick preen and then they move on.
Get back to normal.
So yeah. So having the bird this way gives me the opportunity to show you their great big feet. They've got great big talons. These are all kind of wound up. It's kind of nice when they open up their foot for me, but this one's not going to do that. It also gives you the chance to see the scales on their feet. They're called scutes, and they're kind of made out of like a fingernail type material. Because their prey doesn't just lay there and let itself get eaten. It fights back, and it bites, and it claws, and it scratches. And so these feet actually look like they're in pretty good shape. Sometimes we get feet that come in that are just all beat up and full of bruises or scars and scabs. And tailed hawks are part of the Buteo family, and the Buteo family is super mellow. They're just really quiet. They're really laid back. They're really adaptable. You know, I mean, not that this bird won't leave the moment I give it, you know, the opportunity, but they don't scream, they don't bite, they don't struggle really. They just sit there with their mouth open. That's their defense mechanism. But it also gives us a great opportunity to see how they breathe. Through that hole in their tongue is the opening where they breathe through. And it also gives you the chance to look at the barbs on the back of the tongue. And then they also have barbs on the roof of their mouth, if you can see that. They're not always eating dead stuff. So that dead stuff, you know, if they're or the live stuff, you know, is trying to get back out. And so all of that hard flesh is pointing backwards down the throat, so it kind of keeps moving the food backwards. Shade over their eyes, it's a little bit like a visor. It also acts as protection as they're, you know, moving through the trees. It's just a little bit of a barrier, you know, before something would hit their eyeball. It'll hit that bony ridge as well.
And you're gonna kind of do like a granny throw, granny basket. I'm gonna pass this one just a hair. On three. On three. 1, 2, 3.
Good job.
I hope you got that.
Woohoo!
Okay, that's almost 12.
Yes, this is an immature Cooper's hawk. I do not know if it's a male or female though. Nobody told me, so, and that's really hard to tell with these guys. These are in the same family as a sharp-shinned hawk. They're an accipiter. They're the medium-sized one that we get here. They have similar coloring to what you'd see on the sharp-shinned immatures. They have the brown vertical striping on their chest, and they have the dark chocolate brown with the rusty edge on the back here. And this being a patchier bird, it also has a yellow eye, just like the sharp-shinned would. But this guy's a little bit bigger. And I don't know if you can see it, but he has a full crop here. Something about this big is in his crop. I don't know, or her. Okay, here, let's see if I can get him to look. It just wants to look at you. Brushy areas, chasing smaller songbirds and smaller prey. It has, let's see if I can get you a wing out here. It has short, rounded wings like the sharp-shin has, and a long tail. Yep, I know you want to go. A really long tail compared to the wing length. If I can get him to look at you guys. If you want to look in his mouth, you can see that there's a hole in his tongue. And that's for when they're swallowing their prey, it helps them breathe, because otherwise the area where our nostrils would kind of connect with our sinus cavity in our throat, that would get clogged up if he had something in his throat. So there's an extra breathing tube on his tongue. Can everybody see that? Come on in close. I've got a good grip on him. He's not. You can see that.
I can see it.
Yeah.
Good
Boost.
1, 2, 3. Oh. Just missed it.
That's okay.
I got your fist.